G'day folks, here's my somewhat sizable January collection update. G'day folks, welcome back to the channel. This here's my January collection update, which as you can see is a little sizable. I could blame this on postage over Christmas, but maybe I just bought a bit too much stuff. Some of it is from my trip to Sydney for to go see Mortiferum and Co. Because Simon from Explosive Action dragged me around to various shops and forced me to buy things. Thanks, mate. But yeah, maybe I just bought a lot of stuff. So I'm recording this on a Sunday morning because it's due to be 39 degrees here today, so I'm not overly keen on that. It's already warmish in my study, hence the fan being on, so hope it's not too noisy, but yeah. Let's get this over and done with so I can go and sit under air conditioning. Alright, first up we have 3 albums from the mighty Austrian black metal dudes, Abigor. First up we have Apocalypse. I got this from Overuse Records in Tassie. I think this is first issue of this, other than maybe that spiffy box set. First issue of this on record, so couldn't resist. I didn't already have it on CD. This is a band I think I talked about them in a previous one. Kind of really loved them early on, and then kind of missed a lot of their stuff. So I don't own very much. Well, I do now. I've got another one bloody coming in the mail as well, so might have gone a little overboard there, but yeah, this is their 5th release. This is just an EP. It's like 6 songs or something or other. So, but yeah, it's killer era. I mean, most of the time this has all just been the one lineup of PK, TT, and Selenius. And yeah, this is prime Abigor. This stuff. They just have this beautiful ability to sound sort of just crazy, unhinged sort of style, but then you can tell it's superbly written. And yeah, I'm not sure if it's because the drums are doing their own thing occasionally, you could say. Sometimes you wonder if they're playing different songs, but usually it comes back together perfectly. So and yeah, on this, Selenius, the singer, is the guy from Summoning as well. Yeah, he sounds killer on this, just ranting sort of style. I love it. So yeah, this is a spiffy one. It's only an EP, so we get the band looking pretty bloody grim. Love a good weapon display. Should be more weapons in black metal. None of these stupid candles. So yeah, black vinyl, but ooh, spiffy. It's etched or just printed on or whatever, but yeah, very nice. So yeah, happy to get this one. It's Abigor, I'll read the bit at the back. Abigor, Grand Duke of Hell. He appears in the form of a handsome knight, bearing lance, flag, and snake. He is demon of the superior order and responds readily to questions concerning war. He can foretell the future and instructs the leaders how to make themselves respected by the soldiers. 60 of the infernal legions are at his command. Sorry, I couldn't resist. I know Abigor are dead sort of serious kind of blokes, but no, what the hell. Ooh, I also got a little handy little advert for it. So yeah, so that's Apocalypse. I also got Supreme Immortal Art, which is their I think it's their 5th album itself. So this must be after Apocalypse. Yeah, I think this is the reason why I wasn't sold on them on their middle to future era stuff so much. I think I must have had a copy of this or just listened to it, because it just sounds like Emperor. It's weird. It doesn't really sound a huge amount like Abigor. I think it's one of those albums that's going to grow on me as I listen to it a lot more, and to tell the truth, I've only cranked it a couple of times, so it just sounds strange. There's too much symphonic, later kind of 9 Equilibrium maybe era Emperor sort of style. I don't know, it just doesn't impress me a huge amount so far. I think it's Soil of Souls is the Ripper song. I noticed I haven't actually got around to listening to the instrumental version of this, so exciting. I was wondering why it was 2 discs. So yeah, I'll give it more of a go. I know there's people that love this album a lot, so yeah, I'll keep trying. But also, so I got this from Jared from Facebook, so thanks mate. He was selling it nice and cheap, which was hence why I grabbed it. So, but yeah, the main thing I got this month was the brand spanking album called, here we go, Taphonomia Aeternitatis. Oh, God knows. It's not something in Latin, no doubt. Oh, yeah, so this is a brand new Abigor. Just came out on WTC Records. I got this one from Overuse as well, so thank you. This is a spiffy, it's got a spiffy sort of box, or not box, but case to it on the outside, and then, ooh, wacky do artwork in there, and I think there's some boobs on there, so I better not show that one too much. I think it's just, well, actually, I think this was slightly spiffy looking vinyl. Always looking impressive. So, I better put all this back together, I guess. So yeah, I've listened to this album a lot since it's arrived, and it's bloody killer, I gotta say. Very impressed with this. It's very all over the place, I gotta say. It's pretty out there, it definitely is. I mean, it's a classic lineup, so works very well. If anything, the drums sound a bit weird on it. I'm not totally sold on the drum sound. Usually he's pretty far to the front, and this, I don't know, it just sounds a bit normal almost. Apparently there is, I think their Bandcamp, which I'll put a link to below, has, I think if you buy this on that, you get like a previous mastered or a different mastered version as well. So I might have to track that one down. It could be worth having a listen. But yeah, it's quite experimental, you could say. I mean, later era Abigor is pretty out there. It's very avant-garde, sort of whole lot of different stuff going on. Selenius uses quite a few different voices on this. I think there's some female vocals on here that sound really good. They kind of remind me of classic Unholy, the Finnish Black Doom band. Their Water Gives a Sigh a bit. So it's weird, slowly androgynous sounding. What is it? It doesn't actually have the songs on the back. Fornitas Welton Rise has got a bit of a Thorns sort of feel to it, which I love. So I'm a big fan of Thorns, and very keen to see that there appears to be progress being made on a Thorns album. But yeah, and then it kicks into like power metal-y sounding bit, which is like, oh, okay, sounds good. And yeah, there's odd certain bits. Some bits are pretty slow, like, but then they kick in with super fast ones like Extermination Angel and Burning Hell. Those are blast central. So yeah, I think this is going to take even more listens than I've already given it, and it's had a few, but yeah, it's sinking in quite well, I've got to say. I love bands that like this that just put their all in. I think part of the reason why these guys have such interesting songs is that they don't play live, so they don't have to like cater to that, oh, we better put a jump metal riff in here so the crowd enjoys it kind of thing. They just do their own thing and bugger everyone else. So, and I definitely appreciate that about Abigor. They're focused on what they want to do, and this is pretty out there, but definitely worth giving a listen, I reckon. Alright, next up is an order I got from Misako on Ojo from England. First couple I'll just show quickly because they're on my top 20 albums of the year list, but didn't arrive in time. So yeah, this is Cruciamentum with Obsidian Refractions. Looks kind of spiffy. And this is Cryptworm with Oozing Radioactive Vomition. And I think the Cruciamentum's just black vinyl, but this one's spiffy, vomity something or other. I don't want to know. Radioactive ooze. So, I encourage you to watch my top 20 videos where I ramble about these a bit different because I had already heard them. So the other reason I did a Misako order was to get these two 10 inches. This is Funeral with Demo 90 and Disgrace with Inside the Labyrinth of Depression. So yeah, they're two Finnish death metal demos, both put out on Extreme Music on their 10 Inches of Death Cult series, so very happy with that. So first up we've got Funeral. Never quite sure how to pronounce that, but that'll do. This is their second demo, Demo 90. I had wanted to get like I think Extreme also put out Cranial Torment compilation, which is a compilation of the Cranial Torment demo, this demo, and like an EP I think as well. But I somehow missed that, and yeah, it ain't cheap on Disgorge, so this'll do. I got completely suckered by this, because I've always loved that cover art. It's very stylish for a demo. Yeah, this is ridiculously heavy Finnish death metal, obviously from 1990, and yeah, so pretty early in the piece, really. Just ridiculous heavy detuned sound. Vocals are just deep as hell. I really wonder what's in the water or why Finland has such deep vocals. You know, you got your abhorrence, Demolage, Mythos. It's just the list goes on and on and on. I don't, maybe it's the way they speak. I don't know, but they get heavy as hell. So yeah, this is 3 songs. Sort of, they got slightly doomy kind of elements occasionally. You get nice little flyers and liner notes. Or I think it's actually looked to be an interview from probably a zine or something back around the time that this came out, because they're just talking about their lineup changes like they only just happened. And yeah, spiffy record. Plus, because it's only 3 songs, they've printed on the B sides. So yeah, pretty bloody nice little package. But yeah, I'm not that phased that I didn't get Cranial Torment compilation, because that first demo is, wow, it's still pretty good, but compared to this slaughters it by a long shot. Just nasty, just heavy as death. I wouldn't even say doom at all, just death metal, just Finnish death metal, ridiculous, great stuff. And Disgrace, honestly, is very, very, very similar. These guys do actually doom it up a bit more. And yeah, they lasted a little longer. Funeral only had like 1 album, Children of the Scorn, which I'm still not completely sold on. I mean, pretty sure they re-recorded all 3 of those songs on it, but it just, yeah, the sound is a bit average. I don't know, I think they advanced a bit too much and tried a bit too much on it. So yeah, that Funeral demo will do me. And this Disgrace, again, this band did actually last a lot longer. They I don't know, I think they split up in like 2014 or something, but they did much the same as like a few other Finnish bands like your Zizma and Convulse and so on. At least Convulse came back to the fold, but they turned weird basically. They dropped the death metal. I think they became like a punk band sort of thing. But yeah, this era stuff, this is stonkenly heavy stuff, that's for sure. Honestly, I kind of miss this band back in the day, like their Grey Misery album, the album that came out like after this. I think there was like an EP after this as well. Well, there is, because it's on this Seraphic Decay sampler. I think it's Debts of God, which sounds pretty killer, and the Grey Misery, the album, is bloody awesome as well. I'm very surprised I didn't pick it up back in the day, maybe because it's got a slightly odd cover art, but yeah, I'm very happy to get this one, that's for sure. Yeah, so yeah, again, this one comes as like spiffy vinyl with, pretty cover art, and doesn't actually have any interviews or anything on the liner notes, but it does have like flyers up the wazoo, including the most painful looking Killer Gig, Afflicted, Old Funeral, Disgrace, Beherit, Phlegathon, Sentenced, Belial, and Mordicus. Jesus. That's another stop for my time machine, I'd say. But yeah, this demo is... yeah. Thankfully they did manage to replicate the sound pretty well on Grey Misery, the album itself, but this is just ridiculous. Occasionally doomy sort of death metal. Got the pretty damn deep vocals as well. Occasionally it's a little clunky. There's like I think it's the 4th song, Waves of Hypocrisy's Seas. Yeah, it does have some nice, weird, sort of angular Demolage riffing. I mean, before Demolage got around to it. But yeah, it's a bit clunky. It's got an odd solo and strange timing. But I think one of the good things about this is the drumming is a little odd. It's yeah, just different, that's for sure. At different speed than half the riffs. Most of the time it works. Occasionally it's a little, not flash, but yeah, overall this is definitely worth getting. If you can get any of these little releases from Extreme Music, I would highly recommend it, because friggin' killer. Up next is one I got from Rare Waves. This is Rune Magic with Beyond the Cenotaph of Mankind. This came out last year, I think, so yeah, this is I don't know, this band I always kind of forget about. I have probably about, I don't know, 4 or 5 of their albums. They have a lot of albums. This is the 13th album. Been around since the, I don't know, 90s somewhere. They spit them out, that's for sure. I think Nicholas is the main guy behind this, who's been there forever. So yeah, he's a prolific chap because they put out a heap of EPs and demos and shit as well. So, but yeah, this is Swedish doom death, I'll say, because there's a lot more doom than death. I mean, it's heavy as friggin' hell, but growly vocals, everything. But yeah, it's very doomy. I always kind of forget. You got the Catatonia drummer Daniel's in this band as well. Has been for like 20 years or something. But yeah, these guys they've always got this killer mid-pace sort of crunch that they use. I wouldn't say chug, but I don't know. It's this groove that they get into. It's like so yeah, it's this killer bloody sound. It's got some nice sort of sinister melodies, sort of thing. Gives it an evil feel in parts, which works very well. Occasionally it's got this sort of ethereal, moments of serenity, you could say, which also adds to it. That you can tell they enjoy their writing their songs. But honestly, with this band, I'm really bad. I'll put it on and just kind of vague out and do something else. I've really got to stop and actually listen to this sort of stuff. There's too many distractions to just listen to music, so I'm thinking I need to win the lotto and have a room that just has a record player and an amp in it and stereo in it, and just sit there in the dark listening to music. That's what I need. But yeah, this is pretty bloody impressive, I gotta say. So if you like your doom quite deathy and your death very doomy, check them out. Up next is one I ordered directly from the band. This is Abominable Putridity with biotransmitted ingurgitated interface. Bloody hell. This is a Russian slam, brutal, deathy sort of band. Freaking heavy as hell. I'm a huge fan of their Anomalies of Artificial Origin album. I think they've changed lineups quite dramatically since. There's one guy that does pretty much all of it other than the vocals. The vocals on this, and I think the last album as well, as Angel something or other from Cephalotripsy and Disgorge, like the Cali Gorge, that is. And yeah, he sounds bloody killer on this. I could hold it up, but I'll just put up a picture of it because the cover art is pretty bloody spiffy, but it's small. For some reason, this is like one song. It's like, probably costs the same to press a CD with like 8 songs, so why not at least 2 or 3 songs? But I have been suckered by this before. I also have their what's it called, Supreme Void single, which recently sold for $300. I mean, this is like one of 200 pressings, so I'm guessing this one will go up as well. I don't know. I got suckered by the old fear of missing out. Ooh, must have woken up and seen it on Facebook and order. So I also ordered and with a spiffy t-shirt as well. So yeah, you can see that album design a bit better there. So yeah, it's bloody killer, don't get me wrong, but it just seems a waste. Why only one song? But anyway, hopefully they'll put out a new album. The album from last year or the year before, whenever that came out, was pretty bloody good, but I think Anomalies of Artificial Origin still the killer one. Used to be good in my when I was a good boy and went to the gym. It was very good gym music for lifting or for cardio. I think it's just high energy, just killer groove breakdowns, great stuff. So yeah, you probably can't buy this anymore, but you can probably listen to it digitally, so check the links below. Next up are a batch I got from Nuclear Winter Records from Greece. It's the label run by the Dead Congregation bloke. So first up is Dripping Decay with Watching You Rot. This one came out on fucking Kill Records. Classy. This is a Portland death grind thrash kind of band. I think that they were in my top 20 last year with their album, and stupidly I thought this was the new EP that they were putting out, but this is actually a demo from a couple of years prior to that, 2021 it looks like. So yeah, pretty much all the songs other than the intro and outro bit are on the album. So yeah, it's a bit of a waste really, but hey, it's spiffy looking at least. It's hand numbered. Ooh. After nice 80s synthwave sort of intro, it's yeah, straight into it. The sound's a bit different than the album. It's not quite as sort of deathly sounding. A bit more thrashy sounding, much like the new EP, which I've actually heard now, so I will track it down eventually. But yeah, on this, I think Dissolve Me sounds friggin' killer. But yeah, it's the same, pretty much the same lineup. I think the bass player is different. You get the spiffy and lyrics and the like. Fancy swirly vinyl. It only appears to be one-sided. Yeah, so anyway. I mean, there are only 5 or 6 songs, so it's not super long, but yeah, the vocalist, I think he sounds a bit better on the record for my liking, like the album itself. I don't know, he's a bit deeper on that. It's a bit more deathly, you could say. But yeah, I mean, it was a mistake, but it was still a nice mistake. One of the main reasons I wanted to order stuff from Incl was because they had this. This is Morbific with Pestilent Hordes. So this is a Finnish death metal band. This is their 2020 demo, so before they did their 2 albums, which I hadn't tracked down until now, so happy to get this one. This one came out on Behind the Mountain, I think Polish label, I think. So yeah, this is 5 songs, 3 of which made the album, and yeah, it's got a simpler, deeper death metal sound than the albums, because the albums have that weird, kind of raspiness. Like, I wouldn't say tinny, but it's not that super bassy, deep sort of sound. I mean, I like it. It's different, that's for sure. Whereas this sounds a bit more sort of normal. Honestly, it's not as good as their albums, but you got to start somewhere. I do love that when they use the D-beat sort of style. It just sounds killer on this. And I mean, I think Sawmill in the Mist is probably my favourite song on here. It's just got this swaggering sort of groove to it that just rules. I really did quite like this band, even if this isn't their greatest work. Always looking tough. And that stylish autopsy shirt again. I want that. And yeah, more. This must be the day of friggin' printed on records. I think that might be it, but I may have more, who knows. So yeah, and I've always loved that they have Impetigo style logo as well, because yeah, I love the Impetigo logo. It's just killer. But yeah, I think it's Perverted Surgery's got some deep vocal effectsy sort of bits on it, and yeah, it's just killer Finnish death metal. Also from Nuclear Winter was Mortuous split with Deform. I'm a big Mortuous fan, so I didn't even know this existed until I saw it listed, so yeah, what the hell. The Mortuous song on here is pretty bloody killer. They're San Jose death metal band. Yeah, just great West Coast death metal sort of style. The Deform side of things, I hadn't really heard of them, and I can see why. They only had like a demo and pretty much this. Looks like they'd split up, and this is actually a tribute to Tim, who was, I think, the singer and guitarist of Deform, who obviously died in 2016. So, yeah, I'd say that's why this was put out, even though it didn't come out for a couple of years after that. But, yeah, I was thinking, who the hell's Deform? So, yeah, they're sort of sounds like East Coast death metal-y sort of style. Pretty bloody good, actually, so it's a bit of a shame they split up, but, yeah, so little 7-inch, nothing too exciting, but I think it's white vinyl. So yeah, I was happy to pick up this one. And lastly, from Nuclear Winter is the Cadaveric Incubator split with Undergang. This is Christmas split for some reason. I don't know why I didn't pick this up at the time, but I don't know. Maybe because it's got a Christmas tree on it. Although now I notice it's got like guts for tinsel, so classy. Yeah, this is 2 death metal bands. Cadaveric Incubator, Finnish, I believe. It's a bloody bit of a theme as per usual. And yeah, their song Swarming Vulgar Xmas is obviously a tribute to Carcass with their Swarming Vulgar Mass. And yeah, it's alright. It's a bit boring when they're fast. I don't know, this is a band that haven't quite clicked for me, to tell the truth. I've got a few of their albums, I think, but yeah, they just don't really grab me. I've got to try a little more, I think. But when they're slow, they're friggin' killer. So I will give them more of a go, I promise. Undergang I'm very familiar with. It's Danish death metal, killer stuff. Just more killer grooves. There's only a song from each band. Well, it's interesting. It's got like a slower sort of middle section on the Undergang song with kind of spoken wordy bits almost. Sounds wanky, but it sounds good live, but it's a bit different for those guys. So when you get a thing with a charming picture there. Oh, that is Evil Decayed Santa. Love it. And of course, yeah, pretty. So not the most mandatory thing, but happy to get this, even if it's got a Christmas tree on it. Up next is one I got from the band. This is Anatomy with Twisted Depths of Horror. Now, this is a compilation that was put out on Dark Symphonies, The Crypt, I don't know, a number of years ago. So this has pretty much all their demos and EPs. It has Twisting Depths of Horror EP, which is 93, Arrogance Within Humanity EP 92, Dark Religion demo 91, and For Those Whose Eyes Are Black demo 92, and an unreleased track from 94. So that's the main reason I got it, mainly because I already own the CD of just the normal EP, like the original Dark Oceans one, and of course I own the reissue on Abysmal Sounds of just the EP. I think this might have one of those the other EP as well on it, but yeah, so what the hell. I'll have it yet again. Yeah, this is the spiffy 2 LP version that comes with liner notes and spiffiness galore. So yeah, this is Melbourne Black Death sort of band. They were a bit more deathy back here, but they sort of got a bit more black as time went on. The Twisting Depths of Horror is probably the highlight on here for me. It's just got a killer sound. It's one recorded at legendary Toybox Studios, which also did like Disembowelment, Bloodduster, Damaged, and of course the mighty Mortification. Yeah, that's probably the standout on this. It's got the best sound, and I really love the kind of solo section on the third song, a Stream of Seven. Yeah, just killer sort of style, a bit more thoughtful. Honestly, the demos don't grab me a giant amount, other than For Those Whose Eyes Are Black. That's probably my preferred sort of demo. I don't know, it just has killer sound, and yeah, well worth it. So, I mean, they're all pretty good, but they're a band that never super grabbed me, I gotta say. I probably should have put Twisting Depths of Horror in my top 20 Aussie EPs, but just didn't quite make it. The extra track on here is Under the Wings. It's from 94. It's like a song that was off their later re-recorded for their Where Angels Die album, which I think is probably their superior work, and just felt a bit more. I would hold it up, but I can't find my bloody copy, which is pissing me off. Find my other 2 versions of Witches of Dathomir or whatever it's called, but yeah, I don't know what happened to my Where Angels Die, because yeah, that's probably the highlight for me of theirs. So, but yeah, killer band, and I mean, I always love that killer Moyen cover art. So yeah, happy to have this full version now. I can relegate the Abysmal Sounds one down to the dumped section down below of doubles or extras in my collection. So yeah, very good. Next up is one I got mail order from Repressed Records. This is Venth with Succumb to Chaos. Yeah, this is a US death metal band from, I don't know, California somewhere. I bought this mainly because it's like members of Rune and Exhumed and Gasp and stuff. Plus it's got, Mr. Everywhere, Charlie Korn, who's also in Send to Dead and Funebarum and tours with Morbid Angel and Incantation and so on. Blake gets around. Yeah, I bought this mostly because of the Ruin side of things, and sadly it's not quite as filthy and just grimy sounding as Ruin, but it's still killer. Sort of mid to fast-paced death metal. It has some really nice solos on it as well, I gotta say, which is something I don't think Ruin particularly have. So yeah, it's just more normal sounding. Honestly, this doesn't sound quite as punchy as the first album, Baptism Death, so I think I'll have to try and track that one down as well, but still, it's good killer death metal though. It's got a nice Autopsy feel on the start of, what is it? Curse of the Living and of the Dead. But yeah, overall, quite impressed with it, I've got to say. I'll probably need to give it a few more listens, I'd say, but I'm really enjoying it. Alright, the next batch are ones that I got while I was up in Sydney to see Mortiferous play on Sydney Harbour, so I encourage you to check out my review of that. But And these ones were also featured on Simon from Explosive Actions shopping video, which I'll put a link to as well. Yeah, we cruised around Newtown, and yeah, one of which was from Repressed Records, is Send It Dead. So yeah, this is US death metal. It's pretty different than the usual sort of sludgy death metal-y sort of stuff that I like. It's yeah, raspier. It's got a bit more of a kind of like your Morbid Angel demo sort of era, especially in the solos and a bit of the riffing as well. And it's not quite war metal, but it ain't really that far off. I'll just say feral. That's probably the best way to describe it. It's bloody intense. I kind of like that unhinged, chaotic feel to it. It's, yeah, just all over the place, but in a good way. I'm still getting used to the sound. It's a bit dirtier and, I don't know, deeper maybe than the first album. A bit less normal sounding. And yeah, really good, like, throaty, raspy, sort of intense vocals to it. It really adds to it. It's gatefold, but it's... Yeah. It does have a slight, like the other album, it has a slight sort of, you know, nice mellow bit in there, but it gets metaled up pretty quickly. I think it's Passage to Eternity. So, yeah, I'm liking this style more and more of late, so I'm pretty happy with this one. Also from Repressed, and due to Simon's encouragement, thanks mate, was Malignant Altar with Retribution of Jealous Gods. This is a compilation of their two sort of demos from 2019. This is Retribution of Jealous Gods and Ceremonial Decapitator. So yeah, this is like Bo and Dobber from Insect Warfare playing, yeah, as well as members of Church of Disgust and Warmaster playing, yeah, death metal. Who would have guessed? Yeah, it's a pretty chunky sort of death metal. It has plenty of sort of slow to mid-paced crunches, which I was kind of surprised about, I gotta say. The drumming's pretty flashy, you could say, on this. There's a lot going on. I mean, Dobber's a bloody good drummer, so I'm not surprised. There's a killer bit of bolt thrower action on Spectral Revulsion. Just at the end of that, there's just a breakdown that's like, oh yeah, rumbly. The Ceremonial Decapitator demos, yeah, sounds kind of shit. So it's only like 2 songs. I don't know if they're both live, but I think the first song, the song Ceremonial Decapitator, is live, and yeah, could sound a lot better. It's a good song. It's got a killer like Finnish tremolo sort of bit in it, and the second song's just Procreation of the Wicked, Celtic Frost cover. That, yeah, sounds pretty friggin' killer. It made even more death metal-y, and further proof of my belief that Celtic Frost started death metal. That's my opinion. So yeah, I'm guessing I'll have to buy the record now, I'd say. So, and yeah, I probably should have bought the split with Gossudar at the time, but no, I was already buying plenty of stuff. Another Simon suggestion from Repressed is Gossudar with Morbid Despotic Ritual. This is a Russian death metal band. Pretty bloody killer, actually. A bit more sort of doomy. It's got a really good sound, but a lot of these sort of bands, they're more interesting to me when they're slower. Like, I mean, you got to have the light and the dark, but yeah, when these guys slow down, I like it. I really like, what is it, Scripture of the Vile Testimony. It's got some, you know, sinister sort of feel to it, and it has one of my favourite things that's sorely underutilised is sinister, slow double bass. None of this bloody stupid Nile, you know, speed record sort of stuff. Slow double bass sounds killer. I think Insurrection of Nephilim's also got a nice bit more sinister action to it. So yeah, I listen to this pretty regularly. Kind of sad I missed their split with Carcinoid, so I'll have to track that one down, but yeah, well recommended. And lastly from Repressed was Anoxia with Languish in Suffering. This came out on Gutter Prince Cabal, excellent little label. Yeah, this kind of reminds me of old Queensland death metal bands like your Crypt and your Misery, and also a bit of Deicide sort of thrown in, so yeah, pretty straightforward 90s, you know, Florida sort of death metal sort of style. Starts slow and heavy with some freaking deep vocals. I like the vocals a lot on this. So it's mostly sort of mid-paced chunky death metal with some fast bits. I like the low twangy sort of bass sound. It's actually got a cameo from Matt from Decrepit Birth, who does a solo or two on this. The vocals are probably the highlight for me. He does lots of good sort of I don't know, I'm a sucker for ease, as long as they're not friggin' Chris Barnes ease. This also has like a demo version of one of the songs that, yeah, doesn't sound too flash. But the cover art's really nice. It's like Polo Girardi, you know, legendary artist. I won't bother. I'll put it up big on the screen so you can actually see the artwork properly. So it looks bloody nice. This band played at like Brute Fest. I don't know. I think they played real early, so I'm not sure if I saw them. But yeah, at any rate, I'd like to see them again. So yeah, it's just killer Sydney death metal. Love it. And the last thing I purchased on my trip to Sydney was from Papa Disco, a rather small, cosy shop opposite Enmore Theatre. Yeah, which I hadn't been to before. It was kind of fun. Simon obviously knows the guy that runs it rather well. We got allowed to sneak out the back and look through some newer sort of stuff. But yeah, I picked up this. What Happens Next with their Stand Fast Armageddon Justice Warrior. So this is a fastcore sort of thrashcore kind of band from San Fran. It's got your classic sort of, you know, House of Faith, Bart Thurber sort of sound to it, you know, just like your Spaz, Capitalist Casualties, Plutocracy, they were recorded there. So yeah, it's got killer drumming from Hyrax Max from like Spaz and Meat Shits and so on. Yeah, it does actually get into blast sort of levels occasionally, but it's just pretty damn fast, I gotta say. One thing I don't like is the vocals don't always grab me. Sometimes they're, I don't know, just a bit whiny or something. Not quite sure about it, but then at times he sounds sort of like Tom Araya. Like there's a song with Japanese title at the end of side one that for some reason he just sounds like Tom Araya doing it. And that's weird. There's a song on here that I swear can't be an original. Maybe it is. It's called and yeah, people are way more into punk than me, which is not hard. Probably laughing at me, but it's one called "Those Who Own the Streets Own the City." It just sounds very much like a cover of some, you know, 80s legendary punk band, and probably is that I'm just unaware of. But yeah, not a bad little pickup. It wasn't super expensive, and well, cover art's killer, so can't go wrong with that. But yeah, not my favourite album of all time, but yeah, still worth it. Up next is a couple of orders that I got from Grindhead Records, excellent label in Sydney. First up is Pulmonary Fibrosis split with Sperm Blood Shit. What a charming band name. Stupidly, I already own this bloody thing. I saw him put it up on Bandcamp and assumed, oh wow, it must be new Pulmonary Fibrosis. Sweet, I'll grab that. And only to get it ordered, you know, arrive in the mail, try to add it to my Discogs. Oh, I've already got a version of it, but this is a different coloured one at least, so I'm an idiot. So yeah, Pulmonary Fibrosis, French gore grind, friggin' killer, very heavy gore grind. This has got a great sound. It's mostly shifted, you know, pitch shifted deep vocals. Although I think the first song has a guest sort of yappy vocals from Makiko from Flagitus Idiosyncrasy in the Dilapidation, this weird Japanese grind band. And yeah, her vocals are not quite to my cup of tea, but oh well. But yeah, the two songs on here from Pulmonary are just freaking killer. I can actually show the inside for once. Hey, it's not that horrible, gory, God knows what's going on. The usual Pulmonary stuff. So yeah, their side's absolutely killer. The Sperm Blood Shit. Love that. Yeah, they're sort of aggressive Italian grind. I don't think I had anything of theirs beforehand, but yeah, so very, very quick blast. Far out. That guy's pretty speedy, and yeah, just the aggro vocals are probably the highlight. They're just sort of ranting, kind of weird. I mean, I think it's all in Italian, which is probably why it sounds a little odd. Oh no, they are in English apparently. Whoops. Oh well. he sounds good and ranty. I like it. Yeah, I mean, it's all right. It's not bad. It's not amazing, but for some reason I was reading up on them. They got a song called "I Want to Fuck Christina Scabia," who's the Lacuna Coil singer. So yeah, it's on one of their other albums. Yeah, I wonder if that got much attention or not. It's fair call though. But yeah, so overall, yeah, Pulmonary Fibrosis definitely worth it. Sperm Blood Shit, not too bad. Also from Grindhead was their latest actual release. This is Slaughter Cult with Meathead. Yeah, this only just came out. This is a Sydney 2, now 3-piece, I think. And yeah, you can't go past the fact that this sounds very much like Mortician. It does have a bit of a kind of that like bouncy cock and ball torture robber prop sort of gore grind style, and a bit of brutal death as well, and a bit of the old Melbourne legends Fuck I'm Dead in it. But yeah, Mortician's definitely the main inspiration here. They don't use samples quite as much. They're they're thankfully short compared to Mortician songs where there's like 2/3 of the song is a sample of some poor woman screaming. Yeah, these are a bit more subtle. But yeah, this sounds excellent. I got this recently, I think last week maybe, in the mail, and just cranked it about like 5 or 6 times in a row in the car. And yeah, it's this is the first thing that's really impressed me this year, I think, other than maybe that Abigor. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I mean, it's pretty simple stuff and very derivative. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's the charmingly titled song "Wind, Dined, and Hard to Find" has just Mortician riff straight out of, I think it's Hell on Earth. There's another Cop Killer's got another borrowed riff as well, but it's an homage. I think on this, my favourite song is probably Mind Control Massacre, although, what is it, Conscripted Suicide's another killer one, but the whole thing's great. It's got a really good punchy sort of sound, the guitar sound killer, the bass is like just this sinister low rumble. The drums on this are programmed, which probably gives it a bit more of a Mortician feel, although I really kind of appreciate the fact they use double bass a bit more than Mortician use, and they really notice that Mortician don't actually use double bass all that much for some reason. I don't know, maybe it's harder to program on their drum machine, but yeah, this is killer stuff. More in the Aussie tradition of Mortician wavy sort of bands, like your Incinerated, Corpse School. Yeah, there's a good batch of them that all bloody roll, and yeah, these guys are killer. I'm very keen to see this live, and I reckon it would be nasty. Oh, and also thanks to Bubs for sending up some fridge magnets. Slaughter Cult and Grindhead Records, so much appreciated. And last but definitely not least is order from Radical Blast. Thanks, Brad. This first up is Brad's own band. His new project, DJ Round Tutor, maybe. I'm not quite sure what that is. I don't know what it is. This is pretty much Cybergore, or as he calls it, rump rattling electro gore beat filth. quite a apt fitting. So yeah, this is pretty much your Nunhawk Commando 666 libido airbag sort of style, which is two ridiculous bands that I very much enjoy. So I'm loving this. So it's pretty much dance beats with scratching for some unknown reason, and filthy shifted, vocal vomits. Yeah, it's odd. I think it's a hole in me. It's like got a sped up sort of corn scat section, sounds like, in there. Yeah, it's odd, very odd, but I really enjoy it, actually. I don't know, no idea whether he's going to try and do this live or not, but yeah, it's an interesting project. I've always liked this sort of weird cyber-gory kind of style, just partly because it's so ridiculous, having, just detuned, horrible, gurgly stuff with, nice dance beats, and yeah, it's a weird style that somehow works. I'm not sure how, but it works. Also from Radical Blast is WTN's Black Hearse. This is a Singapore band. I think it stands for War Torn Nation. I don't think they exist anymore, but it's like a death grind sort of band. This is a compilation of pretty much all their EPs, and for some reason a couple of songs off their actual album, Rotting in Pestilence, some reason just like 4 songs bunged on here as well. Maybe just for a taste for actual decent production, I don't know. Yeah, it's a raw, noisy sort of style of grind, just with mostly sort of growled vocals. It's a bit gore grindy in some of the earlier stuff. So this is about, I don't know, 3 or 4 EPs slapped together, only their sides of them. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. I've got a few of the EPs, I think, and I have had this album for bloody ages, but yeah, it's pretty average sound. They've got a few covers on here. There's like a Carcass, Regurgitate, and Repulsion cover. Don't know why they didn't bung their Impetigo cover on here as well, but I don't know. And the last 2 songs are like live ones. It's terrible. It's almost a kind of spoils it by putting album songs on here, because the production on the albums is so much better. But I mean, the songs themselves are killer. They just don't sound quite as flash. So it's this spiffy cardboardy sort of folder. Whoops, don't fall out. Very nice cover art by Dennis Dredd as well, who does, you know, Autopsy and Abscess and all sorts of Dark Throne and heaps of good ones. So yeah, I really probably bought it more for the cover really than the fact that it's the music. But yeah, and it was cheap as well. That's why I did quite a decent order from Brad. He had a CD sale that I just went, yeah, what the hell. As you'll soon see, I OD'd on a certain band. But yeah, if anything, this could have more bloody info on it. It doesn't even say what. I don't think you get a sleeve or anything that says what these are even from. It's got like a thanks list, and that's about it. It's sort of like, could mention the EPs that it's from, but well. Yeah, definitely not mandatory. I'd highly recommend this one because it's bloody killer. And if I ever get around to doing my Razorback Records retrospective, that'll be on there. But yeah, it's still pretty good. And finally, from Radical Blast, because they're having a sale, I just OD'd on Disgorge. That's the Mexican Disgorge, that is. So I'll go through all three of these. First one was pretty recently released Through the Innards like CD. It's 4 songs. This is actually a demo of their first demo. So it's like pre-production demo or something or other. It's recorded a couple of months before their actual Through the Innards demo was recorded. And, which, I don't actually have the original of that, but I do own Gore Relics, the compilation of Disgorge stuff, which I can't bloody find, which pisses me off. Second thing I can't find. Yeah, so this is a reissue, pretty last couple of years of that demo's demo. And it actually sounds way cleaner than the final product, but to its detriment, if anything, it sounds terrible that it's so clean, because Disgorge I probably should describe the band. They're this murky as hell, very brutal, sort of Mexican death metal band, basically. Nasty as hell. You could almost call them death grind, or I do see them labelled as gore grind, which I don't really think they are, but nasty. That's a very fitting description. And yeah, this just sounds way too clean. It's weird. It's got like this twangy sort of bass, and there's like keyboards on the outro. It's, yeah, I mean, it is very early days for them. It's like 95 or something or other, so I'm not surprised that they were still experimenting with their sound, but yeah, definitely not mandatory. Also from the same band is Old Mortuary, which this is like a Chinese repress on Brutality something or other. Yeah, this is a compilation of various bits and pieces. So it's got like one song from a 2005 studio session they did, a couple of songs from their Promo 98, and then a whole lot of, well, actually some other songs as well in there as well, but like covers, I think. And then, yeah, 2 live sets from 2011 and 2008 from Bucharest and Moscow. So going through them, the 2005 stuff's the pretty current sort of lineup. Yeah, great thick sound. It's killer bloody song. Really good slow section. Just nasty. Nasty stuff. The 98 promo ones are, I think they've been remastered possibly. I don't have the original one. So that's back when they had Antimo as their bass and vocals. So the vocals are even better. I mean, don't get me wrong, like Edgar sounds pretty bloody good on the newer stuff, but yeah, Antimo sounds ridiculously good on all their stuff. So yeah, it's got his weird raspy sort of style that I love. The 3 covers are like Cannibal Corpse, Transmetal, and Carcass. Cannibal Corpse is, yeah, it's not too exciting really, to tell the truth, and I don't know Transmetal, so I have no idea what the original sounds like, but this one sounds like Disgorge a lot. The Carcass song on here is Hepatic Tissue Fermentation, which I think was only on like that Pathological compilation, and then Tools of the Trade, it was re-recorded. Killer bloody song that really should have been on an album. And yeah, their version on this is just ripper version. It's, I mean, obviously Carcass is quite the influence on them, so but they do it justice. It sounds bloody great. The live stuff, yeah, kind of suffers from like being live recording. It's not exactly, great hi-fi. The vocals are too loud, and I think the drums are too loud on the first sort of 2011 stuff. The Moscow stuff sounds marginally better, but yeah, and it's a shame that they don't have my favourite song, Razor Pestilence, on here either. So it's mostly sort of newer songs, you know, like Gore Bless to the Worm sort of era stuff, but there's a few oldies on here as well. It's interesting though, like you don't, comes with a stupid bloody Obi thing, and you don't really get a giant amount of info, including, like, that's pretty much it, including they don't even bother listing the early lineup, so I don't know if there was some bad blood between them and Tomato. I don't know. Same goes for this. There's like no band listing on here at all, which is a bit rude if you ask me, to tell the truth, but yeah, well. So yeah, it was worth it for the studio tracks. The live ones, not too bad. So last but definitely not least is Hemorrhage split with Disgorge. This is called Morgue Metal. So yeah, this is another Chinese repress. This came out originally in like, I don't know, 2009 or somewhere or other. So yeah, you get 3 songs from Hemorrhage, 4 from Disgorge. Hemorrhage are classic Spanish, gore grindy sort of band. Their songs on here, I think Buried in Visceras, there's a nice sort of punky feel to it. I quite enjoy it. I mean, they're still gory, splattery sounding, but and a nice catchy sing-along chorus. They do well with their sing-alongs. Like the second song, Chainsaw Necrotomy, is a similar one. I think it's an older song from their Dead split, but yeah, another more start-stop sort of catchy chorus. Great stuff. The third song, Reamputated, yeah, it's alright. The Disgorge stuff on here though, it's from 2009, so I think this is actually the most recent actual studio Disgorge stuff. And yeah, it's same splattergory sort of style of theirs, with very deep vocals. What is it? The last song, Corpus in Pest. It's got this nice sort of eerie lead to it. But yeah, overall, just brutal stuff. We really need more Disgorge. Where's the bloody album? What are you guys doing? It's been a long time. They're still playing live. Put an album out. Get on it. But yeah, my Disgorge collection grows and grows and grows. So yeah, great band. Love them. Whew, that was a few things, so thanks if you're still watching at this point. Bloody hell. Yeah, so far the arrivals in February, which admittedly is only 4 days in, is small so far, so maybe the next one won't be quite that long. Yeah, upcoming videos I'm going to see Catatonia this Friday up in Sydney, but I don't think I'll bother trying to film it. I might take my little Osmo along and film a song or two, but yeah, I don't want to lug a big camera around and do a proper review thing of it. So we'll see. It should be a fun gig at any rate. Being an old geezer, I'm already planning on missing the support bands because one of them I'm not a huge fan of. The other one I don't know, so maybe I'll check it out. But yeah, I think that'll be a quick and done one. I do have plans to do more of those, most valuable things on Discogs videos. So we'll get one of those soon, and maybe, as I said, the Razorback Records retrospective I might get around to doing shortly as well. So again, thanks for watching. See you again soon. Cheers.